Your dying was a difficult enterprise. First, petty things took up your energies, the small but clustering duties of the sick, irritant as the cough's dry rhetoric, the hours waiting for pills, shot, x-ray, or test, while you read novels, 2 a day, already with a kind of clumsy stealth distanced you from the habit of your health. And hope still, courteous still, but tired and thin, you tried to stay the man that you had been, treating each symptom as a mere mishap without import. Then the spinal tap. That brought a hard headache. And when night came, I heard you wake up from the same bad dream every half hour with the same short cry of mild outrage before immediately slipping into the nightmare once again, empty of content, but the drip of pain. No respite followed. The nightmare ceased. Your cough grew thick and rich. Its strength increased. 4 nights. And on the 5th, we drove you down to the emergency room. That frown. I had never seen such rage in you before as when they wheeled you through the swinging door. You knew, rightly, they conveyed you from the normal pleasures of the sun's kingdom the hedonistic body basks within and takes for granted. Summer on the skin, sleep without break, the moderate taste of tea in a dry mouth. You had gone on from me as if your body sought out martyrdom in the far Canada of a hospital room. Once there, you entered fully the distress and long, pale rigors of the wilderness. A gust of morphine took you. Back in sight, you breathed through a segmented tube, fat and white, and jammed down your throat so you could not speak. How thin the distance made you. In your cheek one day appeared the true shape of your bone, no longer padded. Still your mind, alone, explored that emptying and indeterminate state for what holds and rests there might be hidden on it. You wrote us messages on a pad, amused at one time when you had your nurse confused, who, seeing you reconciled after 4 years with your gray father, both of you in tears, asked if this was at last your special friend, the one you'd waited for until the end. She sings, you wrote, a Philippine folk song to wake me in the morning. It is long and very pretty, grabbing at detail to furnish that thin ledge toured by the gale on which you lay, bed restful as a knife. You tried hard to make of it a life, thick with complicating circumstance your thoughts might latch onto. It had been chance, always till now, that filled each moment up with live specific, your hilarious comment discovered as it went along, and fed, laconic, quick, wherever it was led. You improvised upon your own delight. I think back to a scented summer night we talked between our sleeping bags below a molten field of stars. 5 years ago. I was so tickled by your mind's light touch I couldn't sleep, though I was tired and begged you to leave off. Now you were tired, and yet not tired enough. Still hungry for the great world you were losing steadily at no time of your choosing. And when at last The whole death was assured. Drugs having failed, after you had endured 2 weeks of an abominable constraint, you faced it equably, without complaint, unwhimpering but not at peace with it. You lived as if your time was infinite. You were not ready, not reconciled, feeling as uncompleted as a child till you had shown the world what you could do. In some ambitious role yet to be worked through, a role your need for it had have to find, but never wholly, even in your mind. You lacked the necessary ruthlessness, the soaring meanness that pinpoints success. We loved that lack of self-love and that smile, rueful at your own silliness. Meanwhile, your lungs collapsed. The machine, unstrained, did all your breathing for you now. Nothing remained but death by drowning on an inland sea of your own fluids, which could, it seemed, be kindly forestalled with drugs. Both could and would. Nothing was said. Everything understood, at least by us. Your own concerns were not long-term, precisely. When they gave the shot, you made local arrangements to the bed. You drew a pillow round beside your head and slept. And died. Your skin gone gray, achieving your completeness in a way. Outdoors, next day, I was dizzy with the sense of having been ejected with some violence from vigil in a white and distant spot where I was numb to this garden plot. Too close, too warm, and not enough like pain. I was delivered into time again, the variation that I live among, and where your long body, too, used to belong, and where that bush is minutely active. You never thought your body was attractive, though others did, and yet you trusted it. You must have loved its fickleness a bit, since it was yours, and it gave you what it could. Until the end, when it let you down for good. Its blood, hospitable to guests who took over, tricking it into the greatest of inconsistencies. This difficult, tedious, painful enterprise.